It was a dark and stormy snack time. The skies opened up and washed away everything, seeds, suet, and squirrel leftovers alike. The buffet had officially flown the coop. And in swooped our feathered friend Mr. Blue, in full-blown dad mode, flapping around like a bird without a GPS. "Where's the mealworms?" he squawked like a feathery Gordon Ramsay. "I've got kids hungrier than a hawk at a mouse convention." Just then, waddling behind him was a fluffy little bluebird, clearly still rocking that adorable "I just fell out of the nest" look. Beak open, head tilted back, she was giving it the "OL, feed me or I scream forever" expression. I'm no ornithologist, but with eyes like that and a beak shaped for sass, I'm pretty sure she was a girl. Mr. Blue darted around my backyard like a wormless man on a mission. He pecked, he dug, he came up with nothing but rainwater, which he still proudly served, like, "Here's your appetizer, a refreshing puddle reduction." Look, I love birds, but babies begging at my back door like it's a drive-through? Unpecceptible. So I sprang into action like a well-trained seed ninja. Mealworms? Check. Sunflower seeds? Check. A sign that said, "Now serving wings 24/7? Not yet, but it's on the list. Mr. Blue was back in a flash, stuffing his beak like it was Black Friday at the bird buffet. He body-checked a couple of smaller sparrows out of the way, squawking, "Sorry, kids are fledging today. I'm basically a lunch delivery service with wings." As he zoomed off, Mr. House, yes, the classy one in the dapper feathers, gave him a polite wing wave. "Good luck, old chap," he chirped. It was very British. With the coast clear, a lovely little sparrow floated down gracefully like a feathered ballerina. She took a delicate peck at the platter, probably thinking, "Finally, some peace and peas, I mean seeds." And just like that, order was restored. Mr. Blue got his mealworms, the baby got fed, and I got front row seats to the most dramatic backyard bird drama since the Great Suet Shortage of 23. The fence post fiasco. This morning, I stepped outside with my mug of coffee and a vague plan to be productive, only to be interrupted by the sudden arrival of a very determined Carolina wren. He landed on the weathered fence post at the edge of the yard like he was about to deliver a TED Talk. He puffed up his chest like a tiny opera singer and let loose with a song so loud and dramatic, it startled a squirrel off the bird feeder. "Cheerily, cheerily, cheer up," he warbled, eyes fixed directly on me. I blinked. "Thanks. Is this a concert or a personal attack?" But before I could decide whether to applaud or file a noise complaint, a second wren appeared, a sleek little female perched on a nearby branch, looking like she was judging a reality show. The male wren kicked his performance into overdrive. He bounced side to side on the fence post, belting out notes like a bird possessed, tail flicking, feathers shimmering in the sun. It was extra. The female blinked slowly. He chirped louder. He did a little sideways hop. She blinked again, this time with the unmistakable expression of someone who'd just been asked to watch their cousin's interpretive dance. Without a sound, she fluttered off. The male froze mid-hop, then turned to me with what can only be described as a look of complete disbelief and emotional damage. I shrugged. Tough crowd. With a final chirp, something between "I didn't even like her anyway" and "I need a new PR team," he flapped off into the trees, probably to regroup and rebrand. I took a sip of coffee and nodded solemnly at the empty fence post. Showbiz is rough, even for birds. Mr. Blue enters, a bit damp but cheerful. The afternoon is still rainy, but Mr. Blue is back, for some much-needed refueling. Cut to Mr. Blue scanning a vibrant menu board. He's thoughtful, maybe rubbing his chin. In the background, Mr. House and Mr. Sparrow are seated at a nearby table. Mr. Sparrow is pointing at Mr. House's plate, curious. Shifting through the options, he spots Mr. House and Mr. Sparrow in the back, mid-conversation and clearly deep in food talk. Mr. Sparrow, chuckling. "Okay, now that's a recommendation." Mr. Blue smiles. Decision made. Looks like Mr. House came hungry. Once upon a time, in a quiet suburban backyard, there was a particularly mischievous squirrel named Nutters. Nutters had a big problem. He was really bad at being sneaky. And when you're a squirrel trying to get food from a human backyard, sneakiness is essential. One sunny afternoon, Nutters had a brilliant idea. He spotted a big old fence post right in the middle of the yard and thought, what if I could become the fence post? If I stand still, they'll never see me, and I can just wait until they leave some food out. So Nutters, being the ambitious critter he was, scampered over to the fence post and, with all the grace of a ballet dancer who just learned how to stand on two legs, he tried to blend in. He stretched himself out and pressed his little squirrel body against the wooden post, turning his tail so it looked like a part of the fence. The funny thing, Nutters wasn't exactly a fence post. He had the general shape of one if you squinted and tilted your head at a weird angle, but he still had tiny little paws and bright, beady eyes peeking out from behind the wood. And, of course, his tail swished back and forth like a fluffy little flag in the wind. Now, Nutters wasn't just trying to blend in, he was also on a mission to find food. His nose twitched as he smelled something delicious, perhaps a leftover sandwich or an unattended peanut. As he was scanning the yard, he saw it. A picnic basket, sitting abandoned on the grass, right by the garden. Nutters's heart raced. But here was the problem. He was still half a fence post. And it was going to be really hard to get to that picnic basket if he didn't move. So, with all the stealth of a ninja, he wiggled. Just a little. At that moment, a neighbor's dog, a very curious golden retriever named Max, walked into the yard and froze when he saw the fence post. He tilted his head, giving Nutters a confused look. Nutters froze too. In the stillness, it was a battle of wills. Will the dog figure out that I'm actually a squirrel? Nutters thought. Max sniffed the air and sniffed some more. He pawed at the ground, clearly wondering if he had just encountered the strangest, most lifelike fence post in the history of backyard architecture. Nutters barely breathed. Max took a step closer. Nutters's tail twitched involuntarily. And then, in a move that sent Nutters flying into the air, Max barked. Ruff! His tail wagged furiously as Nutters, no longer a fence post, took off like a rocket, zooming toward the picnic basket. And while Nutters did eventually make it to the basket and snatched a few crumbs, he learned two things that day. He was terrible at blending in. His tail was an excellent giveaway. And as for Max, well, he never quite figured out the mystery of the fence post, but he was always on the lookout for Nutters's next big stealth mission.